care to guess who closed the windows, brewed the coffee, and turned on the lights? I'd win the supportive cub competition without breaking a sweat. Oh, whoa! Not many people actually thank a cub. You're way too nice. Don't mention it. Since you went out of your way to set up a perch for me, I'll look after you whenever I'm free. It's not like Nervatia takes me to her meetings anyway. Who knows when those will ever end? Because I care too much, you jerk! Have you heard the story about the sage who asked the student to fill an empty room? If you ask me, they should put all those bureaucrats Nervatia deals with in a room together. Their stupidity and constant bickering would make the place burst at the seams. Poor Nervatia, walking into that execution chamber alone with nothing but her wit and charm, while I get to enjoy freedom in her place. You're not a mechanical raven, so how could you possibly understand what a mechanical raven finds enjoyable? Trying to poach me from Nervatia? The audacity! I'm impressed. This is exactly the kind of thing she'd love. Just imagine what she'd do to you for... Voice message 1845. Delayed activation. Priority highest. Beginning playback.
By the time you receive this message, I'll no longer be able to answer your questions, Nervatia. That means I've lost the strength to keep living, and I'm speaking in this capacity one final time. I, Lenore, researcher at the Cub Laboratory of the Science Council, hereby formally report that Professor Walden, our project leader, has concealed dangerous and unauthorized data within test sample batch Cub LN-129. This batch has already been registered and archived. The dangerous data involves radical modifications to enemy targeting algorithms and has not been recalled. I entrust to you my legacy of justice and faithful counsel. When the rains of this world pour down upon you, don't sing your lament alone, Blackbird.
That wasn't me. I have no idea what happened. I couldn't control myself. There's no record of the audio. I swear, Nervatia.
Oh. No need to rush, little raven. I'm here. Regarding this, I know as much as you do. The security director wouldn't let her raven go without proper preparation, after all. A familiar name and a hidden accusation. Can we call it fate? Yet another long-buried mystery resurfaces before us both after the Karthiki incident. I'm afraid so. As the security director, I guarantee that your time won't be wasted. Thank you for accompanying me to file the report, my witness, and my fellow traveler.
First, I would like to thank you both for your promptness, Director Nervatia, Grey Raven Commandant. Have both the prosecution, represented by Director Nervadia, and the accused, Professor Walden himself, completed their statements?
My apologies. I left home in a rush, and I don't want my wife and children to worry. As I've already stated, those samples were fully compliant with regulations before being archived. The sample size was substantial, and the testing ground has since been damaged and sealed off due to previous attacks. Our limited personnel and resources shouldn't be wasted on this matter. Of course, this comes at a critical time when my laboratory is promoting several collaborations with the world government. I completely understand your caution and will cooperate to the best of my ability.
Very well. If all parties are in agreement, the Control Court will assume full authority over the investigation and handling of this case, effective immediately.
Internal investigation and evidence collection within the Science Council fall under the Security Director's jurisdiction. Why are you excluding me from this, officer?
The whistleblower report has been confirmed to be authentic by the voice analysis, yet for unknown reasons its submission was delayed by years. Under these circumstances, an internal investigation by the department involved is hardly persuasive.
Attempting to circumvent or undermine the established internal security protocols is itself a blow to public confidence. Moreover, the key evidence in this case involves specialized Cub technology. Having internal experts collect evidence would be far more effective in uncovering the truth.
Forgive my frankness, Director Nervadia, but you yourself are not entirely the product of the Science Council's higher education system, a so-called expert.
Nervadia has fulfilled the graduation requirements for the specialization in combat unit booster. As for her professional integrity, it was Nervadia who confiscated Lenore's unauthorized experiment and made the investigation results public back then.
I'm sorry, Chief Technician, but the only concession the Control Court can make is to appoint a mutually trusted supervisor to accompany the investigation. Otherwise, approval would be difficult. Please understand that I must also answer to my superiors. Well, the Grey Raven Commandant is certainly trusted from all sides. If the busy Commandant could spare the time to assist with the investigation, that would be ideal. Does anyone have any objections?
No.
Me neither.
You've been watching me closely, haven't you, little Raven? It seems that the pain does disappear wherever your gaze falls. This place is also a battlefield that needs fighting and defending. There are no allies or enemies that last forever. Yet certain rules never change. For instance, you must always conceal your vulnerabilities. These marks won't become vulnerabilities as long as I grip something tightly. Whether it's a terminal, a weapon, or someone's hand.
You're always rushing about, Nervatia, where you rarely get a chance to talk. The last time we spoke more than a few words was at Lenore's funeral. You stood so far away, clutching those flowers, and you wouldn't come any closer even when I asked. During your time in my laboratory, she was the only one you were willing to talk to. So many years have passed.
I will not reminisce with the subject of inquiry during an investigation. Let's go, Grey Raven Commandant. Please reconsider, Dr. White. As Dr. Lenore's former colleague and close friend, your testimony is crucial to our inquiry.
Let me repeat myself. I transferred to a different team before her incident, so I never heard anything about this. I fulfilled my obligation to cooperate with your investigation. As for personal matters, I don't want to talk about Lenore with anyone. Especially not with the Council's security director. That's all I have to say.
Why the long face, little Raven? Tired? Interviewing witnesses is like solving puzzles. We need to understand the shape of the locks around people's hearts and find the right key to open them. Just because it's difficult to find at first doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We simply need to reorganize our thoughts and adjust our approach. We're being followed. Look at the intersection behind me. Morgan says the man in the beige trench coat with the stand-up collar has been following us for 3 blocks. And he wasn't the first one. I've never been fond of shadowy games and interference. Regardless of who they are, we need to create a distraction to draw their attention away from the actual investigation. That's pretty easy. Here, put your hand on my waist. So decisive. Don't tell me you've been wanting to do this. Follow me. Let's find a better place to talk.
I've never seen you bring someone here alone before, Nervatia. Your +1 here must be quite unique.
Quite unique indeed. The Grey Raven Commandant is a notable figure after all.
That's not what I meant. How about trying our signature cocktail? All drinks come in both human and construct versions. And if you haven't had dinner yet, our appetizers are quite exceptional.
Already trying to uncover my personal favorites. Bold birdies deserve encouragement. We'll have 2 of my regular. Have my private room prepared, please. Send all our orders there.
Sure thing.
Wanna try? You catch on quick, little raven. Now, let's throw those unwelcome tails the last few breadcrumbs. The private room should be ready now. The night is long, but the dreams are fleeting. We'd better make the most of it.
Impressive, Neratia. Those tails stopped watching the moment you two went inside. I'll keep an eye on the outside, so call me if you need anything. Actually, better not. I get the feeling you're about to do something a mechanical raven shouldn't witness, so I'll just...
Come, sit and relax. I installed the signal jammers here myself. Now we can truly have some alone time. How are you finding the work of a security director, Grey Raven Commandant? Your adaptability has surely been forged in fire. The Karthiki incident. Now this. When dealing with those with ill intentions, it's far easier to show them what they want to see than to work against their expectations. For instance, investigation hits dead end. Nervatia seeks comfort from partner. They'll convince themselves of that narrative without us having to lift a finger. But the more comfortably one lives in their self-deception, the more furious they become when that illusion shatters. I prefer to view that fury as a testament to my capabilities. The more time I spend with you, the more I find your perspective fascinating. Don't stop surprising me, little raven. Now, let's lay out all the information we collected and take turns asking each other questions. Perhaps we can reconstruct the events and organize our thoughts together. Witnesses, evidence, involved parties. For this puzzle, I'll make the first move.
As you can see, they're asking for the test results for this collaboration urgently. I'm a busy man. I simply can't spare the time.
You must remember how we all secretly envied the amount of resources Professor Walden invested in Lenore at the time, Nervatia. Of course, that investment came with immense pressure. To be honest, it's been so long. And since the professor specifically assigned her to the project, I wasn't in any position to access or question the details as an uninvolved party.
As for personal matters, I don't want to talk about Lenore with anyone. Especially not with the Council's security director.
As a task force commandant, you've traveled to many places and interacted with different people in ways that differ from my own. Truth often hides behind difficult dilemmas. In your opinion, Why have our witnesses chosen to remain silent? He is in charge of a collaboration that Professor Walden negotiated. If something happens to Walden, there are two possible outcomes for him. The bad outcome? The collaboration is terminated and all his efforts are wasted. The good outcome? He proves his innocence and takes over Walden's position. Several others are in similar situations. Indeed. Her reaction proves that we don't currently have enough evidence to give neutral parties the confidence to be forthright. He believes my investigation led to Lenore taking her own life. If I approach him alone, he probably won't say a single word to me.